Hello everyone and welcome back to Full House Sports here with myself, Charlie. Right, the Rugby Championship concludes this weekend and I've got to say, what a competition it's been. Up to last weekend, all four teams were well within the running. Everyone has beat everyone, or prior to last weekend had. Fixtures had gone, all teams had an identical record. I've tried to think of the right way to phrase it there. It was quite simply fantastic and some of the best rugby I think we've seen all year, including the Lions tour. And it's a real shame that after this weekend, it looks like the competition might be going. And that's a real shame. Like I say, it seems to have finally picked up its momentum. Like I say, Argentina now and Australia, who everyone looked at and thought was going to be the whipping boys, now look like they're going to be well up there and well within it. And like I say, it's a bit of a shame, to be honest, to have it going. Yes, South Africa and New Zealand are going to have a tour next year. It looks like it's going to be great. New Zealand are looking like they're going to play the South African franchises, a proper old school tour, which as an old school rugby fan is going to be fantastic to see and a real throwback. But I just think it's a real shame. And I also wonder now where it leaves Argentinian rugby and Australian rugby. Australian teams, franchises are pulling out of the Super Rugby. Australians Rugby Union have said they're going to pick players from around the world, which is going to lessen their domestic game. Are we going to see a major force who looks like could be on the up, then sort of fade away again? And that's not what we want to see. And that's not what I want to see either as a rugby fan. You want as many competitive nations near the top as you can get. And I just think, again, with the R360 rumours, with all these different changes within rugby, it just goes to show we need to align a global calendar. That, for me, is fundamentally where the issues lie. You've got South Africans who are seemingly playing all year round, it feels like. There doesn't appear to be a break in for the South African players. And that, for me, is an issue within itself. But I just think the calendar in general needs aligning. There needs to be set windows. I think it was said on a Super Sport clip the other week. In football, there is international windows. In rugby, there needs to be that. You can't have all these different competitions going on at the same time. It just gets messy. And I've said about football, there's too much football. Well, there's too much rugby, and also people aren't watching as much rugby. You've got to use the buffet metaphor again, you've got a massive buffet, but no one wants to eat it. Or people only want to eat certain things. Listen, I think the idea of a New Zealand tour to South Africa is brilliant. And I think it's a real, like I say, throwback. It's what we want to see as rugby fans, the best playing the best. We want to see those rivalries. Listen, they've just put 40 points on each other in the last two fixtures. That we were screaming almost for a decider, but we're not going to get it in the Rugby Championship. I understand why it's being done, but I just think there needs to be a global alignment of the calendar. South Africa, I think, either needs to decide if it's going to go into the Six Nations or if it's going to go to Rugby Championship, stay there. If they do, I'm still massively in favour of South Africa going back and maybe forming another Super Rugby. I mean, it was said a few weeks back, Super Rugby used to be the competition. I remember getting up and watching it on Sky Sports, and it's not that anymore. Southern Hemisphere Rugby seems to be in a bit of a mess, and I think this hiatus of the Rugby Championship will only enhance that mess, and that's quite worrying because, like I say, for Australia and Argentina are firmly in the wilderness. At least Australia have got New Zealand just next door, who, if they need it, potentially players could go and play there in New Zealand. Argentina are well on their own. You know, I know they've Super Rugby Americas, and I know that they've got a lot of European-based players, so may look at going into tours of Europe, but they are going to be well within the wilderness, and that would be a real shame to do to a team that are developing at such a rapid rate. The other option, of course, and one that I thought about, is do the Lions maybe then say, well, if New Zealand, you're going to do that with South Africa, we're going to maybe put you guys on the back bench and we're going to go to Argentina. I mean, I've made now before for a Lions tour to Argentina. I think they deserve it. But we, I think, as rugby, have a duty to protect these nations that are on development. And I think that a Lions tour would help to do that. It's just messy. It's really messy. There needs to be a sit down with everyone and a sorting of the calendar. That is a fact. It needs to happen. Whether it does or not remains to be seen. There needs to be an alignment calendar. We've got this Nations Championship now going ahead. No one really knows what that means. You know, there's so much going ahead that we just need to look at and go, right, what is going on? When's it going on? R360 now, April to September. What's that going to mean? I mean, I think they were saying on Ben Young's and Dan Cole's podcast, the Rugby World Cup starts in 24/7 in September. Are all those players going to rule themselves out? Are now the New Zealand, South African and Australian players going to look at that and go, well, we're going to go there for club rugby because Super Rugby is so weak? It's quite incredible, really, how Southern Hemisphere rugby is so strong and yet seems to be built on such fragile foundations. And I don't want to be a doomsday prepper, but it does feel like those foundations may not be on the verge of collapsing, but just need a strong blow, a strong gust of wind, and maybe things will go and not the house of cards will fall. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, let us know what you guys think. Please give us a like. Please check out my other content. Please subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. Thank you.